Hi everybody, it is Dutchess. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dutchess. This is my channel, Dutchess Divinity, and we do lots of stuff here. But today I'm going to be doing a tarot reading for the full moon in Leo. And then later we're going to be doing group Reiki under the full moon. So if you want to sign up for that, it's impromptu, so it's not on my website. But you can send donations to any of the links I've provided on my community page. Or if you're confused, you can email my secretary Lizzie at dutchessdivinity1111@gmail.com. So yeah, that is what we're doing today. Also, I just wanted to say as well, when Cornica passed away, somebody sent me this bracelet. It was really, really nice. It says Nikki on one side, and then it says Cornica on the other side, and it's got crystals. I think it's jasper, but it didn't come with, like, it wasn't signed. So, like, if you sent it to me, can you please email Lizzie at DutchessDivinity1111 so I can know who sent it? I have a feeling I think I know who sent it, but it would be nice to know who sent it so I could give a proper thank you, because it's just a really sweet bracelet, and it was really a beautiful concept, so I'm very grateful for that. But hey guys, thanks. People are starting to come in now. Thanks for the likes. Remember to like and share with people so that they know that I'm alive, because I ain't gonna say anything about the algorithm, but it is what it is, right? So we're going to go ahead and thank you for the likes. We're going to read some tarot. I'm going to start with a prayer. I'm going to say a little heartfelt prayer because, okay, so here's where I'm at today on this full moon. So where I live, it's really snowy and cold, and we're also getting, I'm going to be careful what I say because my views have been getting tampered with. We're also getting some suspicious stuff in the sky, right? I think you know what I'm talking about. And suspicious things with the weather. So it's been really, like, morale has been hard to keep up during this time. One, just because winter is just tough anyway, but two, because of all of the, like, we haven't seen the sun or the moon in weeks because the sky is just a blanket of gray. And, like, that's really no way to live. It really just isn't. So I'm really eager and excited to get out of this state as soon as I can. But what I've been experiencing a lot lately is, like, manifestation fatigue, and please comment below if you feel the same way. Like, honestly, that word is literally making my skin crawl at this point, because I feel like I'm trying to do everything right. Like, I'm trying to manifest, and I'm trying to listen to the subliminals, and, like, let go of my expectations and all this stuff, and it just feels like there's so much crushing oppression, whether it's with the economy or with, society and societal issues, or, like, my state itself is extremely oppressive and has been for the last 4 years. And it's like every time I leave Connecticut, it feels like this huge weight gets off my shoulders. And anytime I go anywhere else, other than Massachusetts is the only place I've been that feels worse than Connecticut. But, like, I usually go south, and so it's like the weather's nicer, the people are nicer, like, everything is just better down there, in my opinion. Just my opinion, I'm allowed to have it. But so it's like, and I know that's because my state was sold out by our governor when the panini hit, and he made it very apparent that he sold our state out. So I've just been struggling, like, with the oppression of my environment, whether it's my immediate environment because I've outgrown my home that, like, I run my business in, or it's my, internal environment because I'm struggling with, like, seasonal depression and dealing with, like, the winter, or the physical environment where the skies are never clear and I can never see the sun or the moon or the stars, or the societal environment because there's all this, like, crazy stuff happening in the world. You know what I mean? It just feels like the environments within me and around me are extremely oppressive and hard to get over. So I've been having just so much manifestation fatigue because it's like I'm trying to create this better life for myself, but everything that I'm seeing around me does not mirror what it is that I'm trying to create or that I want. And I feel like the oppression of like being in a really bad economy just affects us all very deeply. Like, you know, the kittens are growing, so I'm spending so much money on cat food, and I know it's not going to be like this forever, but it's like stressful because they're like eating me out of house and home, and then they're still babies, so then they get in these moods, right? And it's just, it's part of life. But anyway, it's just a lot. Like, it just feels like so much. And then I'm having manifestation fatigue because we talked about this on Patreon last night, where so many people will tell you like, oh, if your manifestations aren't coming in, that's your fault. Like, you're doing something wrong. You're not letting go. You're not listening to subliminals. You're wanting it too bad. You're not believing in it. You're like, and it's so exhausting, like, because then I sit here and it makes me sad, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why can't I do this right? And then I remember all of the, like, crushing environmental factors that have nothing to do with me. I don't have control over societal issues. I don't have control over the economy. I don't have control over, you know, the weather. Yes, I can weather witch and stuff like that, but it ain't like, do you know how exhausting that shit is? Like, making shit happen with the weather is so fucking exhausting. So like, yes, I can do it if I need to, but it's really tiring, and I can't just sit here trying to freaking change the weather all the time when they're already doing like other shady shit around that. So it's just like, and then, thank you for the likes, guys. It helps to push the algorithm. But anyway, on the Patreon, Indigo made a really good point, and she often talks about like the oppressiveness of like religion and like the church. And she was saying how like when people get in that energy of like, oh, well, you're doing something wrong, you're the reason your manifestations aren't getting in, your brain isn't wired correctly, you're not doing this right, like, I just get so discouraged. And she's like, it's literally the same as like the church being like, you're inherently evil, you were born of original sin, you will never be Jesus, you will never be good enough. Like, it's just the same rhetoric. And this is why I say, like, I don't really like the spiritual community. I was listening to Conjure Queen's live last night, and it was incredible. And if you know me, you know that Conjure Queen was my first teacher. And I was just like absorbing the information, and just definitely check out her live. We'll have Lizzie link it after in the comments, but like, it was just so activating and it was so good. And I was like, this is the kind of spiritual community that I fuck with. Like, not all the weirdos that are just, they're trenders, like they're grifters, right? They're hopping on a trend, and they aren't actually about this life. They read one or two things, and now they're just trying to get by, like skate by. And that's the other thing. It's like the market has become so saturated with people who are just full of crap. Like, spiritualists and psychics already get a bad name because society doesn't recognize this as real, and I'm just so sick of that. And a lot of people, thank you for the likes, a lot of people were commenting on my recent video. I haven't had a chance to comment back yet, but where I was talking about how I realized I was psychic, not psychotic. Like, I am just so tired of living in a day and age that acts like I'm not real. Like, that acts like I'm the bad one, or I'm the scammer, or I'm the crazy one. And I'm just so tired of it, because it's like, no, I am the real deal. I've been the real deal. And the other thing is, like, not to sound like super cocky, because everybody is, I feel, a direct like example that God exists, because I just like, I look at our bodies and how like the organs and the skeletal systems, like all of it is so divine and intricate, and it's just like really intense, right? And I just feel like everywhere you look you can see divinity. Like, you can see it in the trees, you can see it in the water, you can see it everywhere. But like, me and my skills, like, I turn non-believers all the time, because I am good at what I do, and I'm a great channel, and I've been working at this, and I just keep getting better, just like when you work a muscle. And so it's like, I am proof that there's something more, because I will be the channel that tells you shit that I shouldn't know, or I channel something that you've never told anybody, but Spirit just told me. So it's like just really annoying because I have so many people who have like, maybe they don't believe exactly what I believe, but they've been like, wow, like you changed my perspective. Now I believe that there's something more, right? And then society like will like always say like you're a scammer, like it's not real, this and that. Like I can't even get on a proper, like I can't take credit cards because they say that my line of work is highly fraudulent. Like it's just an excuse to keep the masses deaf, dumb, and blind. And a lot of what I was talking about in my other videos, how it's like, this is Western society. Like in other places, they recognize this is real. In other places, like spirituality is part of the culture. And so I'm just like, I'm just tired of it, right? And I'm tired of like all these people who aren't actually psychic or who read one book and now they think they know everything. Like they've infiltrated the spiritual community and they're bringing their religious rhetoric with them into a community that is actually not accepted by religion, right? Because like the reason I stopped going to church was because they were telling me I was an instrument of the devil and that, you know, I'm satanic and this and that. And it's like, okay, well, I was born this way. So like God made me an instrument of the devil? Was I born of the devil? Like where's your logic on that? You know what I mean? So the church inherently hates people like me and shuns people like me and calls me names. And then society inherently hates people like me and shuns people like me and tries to shove you in a psych ward and tell you that you're a scammer and this and that. And it's just like, it gets really exhausting after a while. And then the even more annoying thing is the grifters that hop onto this trend for 5 minutes because they see that, you know, society is trying to wake up and trying to find something more, like in Western society, how it's like, is Jesus or nothing over here in America, really? And so it's like, now it's like this weird new age movement when it's like actually the old ways, but they're calling it new age. And it's just like, it's just annoying. Like, so yeah, I'm just like, I'm fatigued with humans' interpretations of God and spirituality. I'm really, really fatigued with it. I'm fatigued with the word manifestation at all. Like, it's literally making like a shiver go up my spine. I'm just so, I'm over it. And I'm over the ridicule because it's like, there's just so, like, for some reason, you can just make fun of people so much who are like into this stuff, and I'm just sick of it because it's like, y'all are gonna make fun of me today and then you're gonna have an experience where you have sleep paralysis and there's a demon breathing down your face, and then you're gonna come looking to me for help, the same girl you were making fun of yesterday. So it's just, I'm tired. I'm tired, and that's why I'm leading the thank you for the likes, guys. Makes me feel like other people can relate. And I will look at the chat after, but, you know, ADD, I can't look at it right now. We'll never get anywhere on this live, but I just, yeah, so tonight I woke up this morning and it was just like a tough morning, and the cats were just being like extra crazy, I think because they had to go to the vet yesterday for a physical, so it like broke their routine and they had to leave the house, which they did not like. And then, you know, the full moon. So they were just really acting out for like hours and hours this morning. And I woke up with like a headache and just not feeling well. And we did a lot of heavy channeling on the Patreon last night. Like we're channeling about like what's actually going on, like behind the scenes with like celebrities and like all this other, like, you know, the 1% and the evil agendas of the world. And that shit just gets exhausting after a while. Like, because, like, the evil that runs the planet truly knows no bounds. And it's, like, I almost, like, there's a part of me that wishes almost that I lived during a time where people were blissfully unaware of how bad things were, you know? Like, because the internet wasn't a thing. So it's, like, I truly long for that, like, individuation where you're not connected to everyone and everything through the phone. And it's crazy because, like, I grew up, you know, I'm 32, so when I was, like, becoming a teenager, it was, like, cell phones were becoming cool, and, like, I used to use the dial-up internet. Like, I'm the generation that started to grow up on VHS and, like, all that other, like, low technology stuff, and then I've just watched technology shift and change throughout my lifetime, and I've been in this middle ground. And it's like crazy because like when I was a kid, I wanted so bad to like have so many texts, and I wanted a phone, and I wanted the internet, and I wanted this, and I wanted that. And it's like, it feels like the way I saw someone describe it with like content and the internet is like we were on this upward curve where it was like fun and enjoyable and things were good, and then we hit our peak, and now we're on this like downward curve where it just feels like exhausting, and people are like consumed out, like they've consumed so much, or they've distracted so much, or they're so like, I feel like people crying about TikTok being banned was like the perfect example of internet addiction. Like, my cat died this year, and I cried a lot, and there were people crying as much as I cried about my dead cat because because an app was getting banned. And it's like, I just think you really need to seriously look at your life if that's where your priorities lie. I just don't think mentally well people act like that. And like, I understand there are reasons for it. Like, for some people it was their income, or like some people it was like their socialization time or whatever. But it's like, as someone who was very codependent in the past, like I had issues with codependent relationships, I had to learn to like stop using, like, you really can't be dependent on anything, because the only constant in life is change. So it's like, as someone who was codependent on people, like, and I would like sacrifice my own well-being for like my partners and stuff, which I don't do anymore, but I do still find myself falling into old patterns and thought processes just because out of habit. So I have to always catch myself. But it's like, you don't want to be so attached to an app, or like your phone, or a person, or a drug, or even a pharmaceutical, like how they took away ADDERALL because it was no longer making the insurance companies money, and now you just have an entire generation of kids who have been drugged to the brim, and then they have no healthy coping skills outside of the drug that you've provided them. And then you take away the drug and they have no ability to function. Like, so many kids who or just had pills thrown at them have been speaking out about that now, and how they're having to learn how to function without those drugs for the first time in their life. Like, there's nothing in this life that you should be so codependent on that like you can't exist without it there. And I just felt like the amount of people like ugly crying over TikTok being banned for 5 minutes, like literally 5 minutes, I felt like it just showed the state of sickness of this world. Like, people are sick, and it's scary. And like, even like losing Cornica, like my cat, like, I think anybody who has a pet that's just like your pet, and you've raised it since it was a baby, and it's your best friend and stuff like that, like, I think that there's really no words to describe the pain of losing that baby, that fur baby, right? But it also showed me like, oh, I have to go on. I can't, like, yes, Cornica's passed away, and I knew this day would come eventually, but I thought it came too soon. It was way sooner than I expected. But like, what am I gonna do? I have to keep pushing forward. I have to, it just makes me want to cry just thinking about it, because it's like, I miss her every single day, but like, life goes on. People pass away. My mom said, Nikki, death is the price of life. And that's the freaking truth. Like, people are going to pass away, animals are going to pass away, and you're going to have to keep moving forward. And it's going to suck, and it's going to hurt, but you have to do it. And so to see people having that reaction, or even bigger of a reaction, from an app being banned for like 13 hours was just really disturbing. So I don't even know why I got on that tangent about codependency, but anyway, I am fatigued. I am fatigued of the internet. I'm fatigued of the spiritual community and manifestation. I'm fatigued of all the world problems and societal issues that are just, crushing down on all of us. And I wanted to do a tarot reading for this Leo full moon, and just get us some positive messages. Thanks for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel a lot. But I wanted to do a pick a card, well, not pick a card, a tarot reading, and then later tonight we'll be doing a Reiki circle together. So as I said in the beginning, if you want information on that, you can find that on my community page, now known as the post page. Weird that YouTube just decided to change that, but okay. Or you can email duchessdivinity1111@gmail.com to secure your spot for the Reiki that we're doing tonight. And basically, we're going to do Reiki and meditation, and we're going to almost go to like a cosmic kind of like whimsical spa like area. I don't think I'm going to take us to where the elementals are, which is where we usually go. Like, I think I want to go somewhere even more high vibrational, because where we usually go is more of like a 5D kind of frequency, but I want to go even higher than 5D, because I really need some like restorative, nurturing, high, like God-like frequency with all the fatigue that I'm feeling with everything going on. So, yep. But for now, we'll do the tarot reading, and then, yeah, we'll do the Reiki later, and I look forward to that. Don't worry, I didn't drink all of this, but I had to get half of it for my spirits. But today was a coffee day. I definitely needed coffee. Okay. Everybody take a drink. All right, let's get some cards. We're using the Housewives Tarot because I'm into that deck right now. I get a little hyperfixated sometimes. And by the way, talking about the ADDERALL, like, I'm talking about it as someone who was prescribed that and like has ADD and had to learn. Well, I chose to learn how to cope without it because it was such a pain in the ass to get, because it's such a regulated drug, and it was also just not good for me. Like, it wasn't good for my body or my organs or my mental health, and it made me really angry, like really, really angry. And I got enough of a temper. I don't need a drug to start making my temper worse. A prescribed drug that my doctor is giving me, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, the point of all that is I'm hyperfixating on this deck right now because I like it. Okay. Whew. Everybody take a deep breath. Let me say a prayer. I just feel like praying in a really high vibration. Benevolent guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Ra, Yemaya, Kornika, and God's source. I humbly come to you today on behalf of myself and all those here now and later, and just say thank you very much for everything that you bless us with. We're so grateful for all aspects of life, the ups, the downs, the challenges, and the blessings. We understand that all of this makes a well-rounded individual in this very polarized reality, and for this we say thank you. And I ask, please, that I be a messenger for the divine, nothing more, nothing less. Let no truth be told for a lie, no lie be told for a truth. Let all the information that come through be kind, palatable, and easy to understand. Please grant me access to the Akashic Records, so I may give a good and accurate reading, and please let all the information come from the source from which all things come. Let it flow through Christ consciousness, and please let it only aid myself and those here now and later in walking in our path and in our purpose in this life. Let us hop to the highest timeline in the most easy and gentle way possible. Let us release all fatigue from anything that might be plaguing us or crushing down on us. We rebuke the spirit of oppression within us, around us, and lurking, watching us. We do not consent to any entities or societal constructs or perceived authority or people who seek to oppress us, steal our light, steal our birthright, steal what is rightfully ours, what we have worked for. We do not consent to any oppressive algorithms or evil algorithms that seek to silence our voice when we speak out for the voiceless or when we speak up for ourselves. And we move forward in the highest frequency with hope and faith in our hearts to reach our highest timelines so that we can be happy and healthy and safe in this life. And when our cup is full, we are able to provide for others and take care of others. And so we come to you today, Spirit, humbly and openly, just asking for your help in this, asking for a tarot reading that can help guide us through this Leo full moon and get us to the other side of the highest timeline of which we're trying to achieve despite anything that might be standing in our way. I pray all of this with the purest of hearts and the best of intentions, only ever for the highest and greatest good of myself, those here now and later, the highest and greatest good of humanity, and the highest and greatest good of this universe. Amor Ashe Namaste, by the power of three, so mote it be, always works, always a blessing. Whew! Oh, I feel good from that. My nose is like really itchy. Y'all already know what that means. When my nose is itching, that means someone's gonna come waltzing back into your life, someone who left. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Wands, Eight of Swords. Thank you for the likes. Page of Swords, Ace of Swords, and the Empress. We're getting a lot of the cards we got yesterday. Was that yesterday or the day before? I need to go back and watch that reading. It was like the Reckoning of the Divine Feminine. I really need to go back and listen to that. I haven't listened to it again yet. And then we've got the Six of Wands. Now let's get one more. The Three of Cups. Okay, so with the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Swords, I really feel like this is about cleaning out the energy, like, from your body. Because at first I was thinking, oh, maybe it's like cleaning your house or cleaning the clutter, which is, if you do have that going on. I know I have that going on right now. Like, I'm having trouble keeping up with my housekeeping. But, yeah, it could be that, but I also just feel like it's about keeping our energy really clean. And remember what I was talking about with like the spirit of oppression? We see that here with the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords has to do with like mental fatigue or anxiety or stress or worry, like I was talking about in the beginning. And so Spirit is showing me like literally cleaning the cobwebs out of your mind. And then I just saw it in, remember in Snow White when the little chipmunk, his tail, he like uses it to clean the cobweb, and he's like swirling it up and stuff when they're cleaning up the house for the 7 dwarves. I feel like it's time to clean the cobwebs out of your head. And then I also saw in Harry Potter when Dumbledore uses his wand to like take bad memories out of his head. I remember thinking like, that's kind of strange, like, because it's like, yeah, of course you don't want to dwell on the bad memories, but at the same time you can't really spiritually bypass the bad stuff. So it's like, but that's what I was seeing, like literally like the magic wand, like taking it and putting it away. And what Spirit said is doing that with intrusive thoughts, or with thoughts that are just like really just like not helpful. So like, yeah, it's like there might be like some bad memories or whatever, but it's like they're there and you've worked through them. But like if it's literally like the intrusive thought of, oh, you're worthless, like you'll never succeed, you'll never get your dreams, you'll never be good enough, like that kind of stuff, like that doesn't really have a place in your mind that can be productive. Because what my therapist taught me about our minds is that everything that they're doing, well, a healthy mind, because not all minds are healthy. Like when you actively don't want to be here, or like feel like unaliving yourself, that's because your brain is like literally sick. Your brain is, a healthy brain is wired to keep you alive no matter what. So sometimes it's just rude. And then also depending on your upbringing and what voices are in your mind from the adults that raised you or the situations that raised you. But it's like, what was I saying? Oh, about the mind. So the mind is telling you like, oh, you're never going to achieve your dreams, because your mind is trying to get you to achieve your dreams. It wants you to survive. It wants you to thrive. It wants you to have those things that you want. So it's like, do it. But it's not doing it in a productive way. Instead of like being like, hey, like here are some steps we could take towards reaching your goal, it's like, just do it already. So it's like everything that your mind's doing is because it's trying to protect you, and it's trying to keep you alive, and it's trying to help you thrive rather than just survive. But that doesn't mean that it's like kind when it does it, or that it's even giving you good advice towards reaching those goals, just because that's not how the human brain is wired. I remember learning in therapy that like it takes 10 positive experiences to outweigh one negative experience. So like you could have the best day ever where you get like 9 compliments and everyone's nice to you, and then you have that one horrible interaction, and now suddenly your best day ever is focused around your one horrible interaction, because that's just how the human brain is wired. Is it fair? No. Is it ideal? No, but it's just biology. So it's like when we understand that our mind is not trying to like abuse us or like hurt our feelings or yell at us, then it's like way easier to be able to gain control over the mind, because you stop taking it personally and you just recognize that it's just how it is. So I feel like it's about right now tonight, like cleaning out the cobwebs of your mind, and also cleaning up the diet. Like if your diet's been a little like crusty, and I'm not saying that to make anybody feel bad, because it's like if you already have a lot on your plate and you're just trying to scrape by, just keep it in the back of your mind, in the back of your rude mind, just kidding, but like just keep it in the back of your mind, you know, that it's like things will get better when you have the time and energy to start cleaning up your diet as well. And because like they say the gut is the second brain, so like when your gut is completely off, so is your mental health. And then we have this like Page of Swords, the running with scissors. And I feel like Spirit is saying that it's like time to cut out the people who push your boundaries. Like something that will make you feel better under this full moon is like not dealing with people or situations that like push your boundaries. So let's say you're working for a business and you're off the clock. You're on vacation time. You're out on, you know, you're living your best life, and then you get an email that's like, "Oh, we need this done today." And it's like, well, no, I'm not getting paid and I'm on vacation, so no. And then it's like they try to make you the bad guy, and it's like, no, actually you're the bad guy, because you're trying to make me work when you're not paying me for it, and when I already fair and square took off vacation time and said, do not bother me, I will not be available. So it's like the thing about manipulators or people who want to use you or take more than they give is they always find a way to like blame you, right? So it's like these people, they're running with scissors, and it's kind of like reminding me of the Five of Swords, how he's just got like a shit-eaten grin on his face after he's stolen the swords from that guy. And it's kind of like how these people, or you know, work or whatever your family, whoever, these people, it's like they've got this shit-eaten grin because they know they're doing something wrong. They know they're pushing the boundaries. They know that they're trying to take more than they're supposed to or that you've agreed to, and that they're not giving you what you deserve. And Spirit's saying that it really is just time, because you know how they say rock beats scissors, paper beats rock, scissors beat paper? It's like knife beats scissors. Like you can sit here and you can try to take from me all you want, and you can run around with your shit-eaten grin knowing that you're taking full advantage of me and you're pushing my boundaries and you're not respecting me and you're throwing it in my face while you do it. But at the end of the day, knife beats scissors, right? Carving knife beats scissors. So I also feel too, for some of you, you might want to clean out your social media this full moon, because there's people watching you who shouldn't be. So you know who it is, the people who always watch your story. They never miss a post. They never miss a story, but they also never freaking wish you well. They never like any of it, and they never comment on it. They never talk to you. They're there. I'm hearing that song that's like, don't mind me, just watching. Like, no, actually, I do mind you, because you're sitting here with, this also could be people watching you to, like, steal your ideas or, like, steal your aesthetic. Like, we all know those kind of people who it's like, you dye your hair, and then in 3 days, they dye their hair, and it's exactly the same as you. You get a new outfit, and now suddenly they're wearing that outfit. Like, it's literally a tale as old as time. They remind me in college, there was this girl who, like, I would be away at college, and she was like from my high school, and I would post on my Facebook, like I would do all these crazy hairstyles, like crazy, like, or bright orange and red on the top, and like yellow and bright orange and red extensions on the bottom to look like fire, like really niche, like creative things that I came up with my friend who was in hair school. And it was like she would do it for me because like she needed the practice and stuff. And so it's like, you know, you do, like, I do these crazy niche things with my hair, and within a week, this girl would have the same thing done, and it's like, I know you're copying me, and it's like, she'd never miss a post, but she never reached out to me, and she never said, oh, your hair looks great. Like, she never commented. She just stole my ideas. Because a lot of these people, like, what people say is, like, they're NPCs. Like, they can't think for themselves. They're disconnected from source, or God as you perceive God. And when you're disconnected from God, you don't have your own ideas. You don't have that creativity. You don't have an open heart. And so it's like you have to copy everybody else because there's nothing going on in your head. Like, yeah, you have a soul. Yeah, you have a personality and everything, but you're an NPC because you're almost like an empty vessel, right? Thank you for the likes. But so it's like there's people or like a person watching you that it's just time to cut them out of your life, because it's like they keep stealing your energy. This could also be cord cutting as well. So maybe you already removed this person from your life, or this bad job from your life, or this really toxic family member, like whatever it is. Maybe you've already removed them from your life, but you never cut the cord. So there's still like this because that's kind of what all these cakes are looking like. It's like this umbilical cord that just sends it right back to them, and they're like just absorbing it like candy, right? I just heard like taking candy from a baby with all the cakes and stuff. So it's like that's another piece of advice for this full moon, is cutting the cords with things and people that no longer serve you, standing up for yourself against people who push your boundaries, and removing them from your life if they refuse to respect your boundaries. And then also as well, removing people who just stare at you and don't support you, because like and I get it, like, I do that sometimes, like, there's certain creators I follow where I'll, like, rarely leave a comment, but I always like, the least I do is like. I feel like that's the least you can do. Like, if you support someone and what they're doing, the least you can do is like, and that's in, like, energy exchange for what they're giving you. So, you already know who it is. You already know. You already had a suspicion. You already know. Yeah, and then, here they are. Don't mind me just watching. I'm just watching you. Praying on your downfall here with the Six of Wands, because the Six of Wands is victory. You could have been having symptoms of evil eye. So like if you had like a silver bracelet and it broke, or like that you wear for evil eye, or like you were like having certain like headaches or things like that, or when your left eye twitches, that means someone's like sending you evil eye. So it's like maybe you were already having some symptoms of that. And then we have the Empress here, and it says recipes for success. And so Spirit's trying to ask you to look at what you're doing right. What are you doing well? What are you doing that's good? Because if you're sitting here being so hard on yourself and never giving yourself credit for the good that you're already doing, then you're just stuck in this spiral of negativity. So Spirit's asking you, what was the recipe to your success to your success to get you from point A to point B right now, to where you are right now, and then basically replicate but don't duplicate. So it's like it doesn't have to be exactly how you got from point A to point B to get you from where you used to be to where you are now, because I guarantee you've grown in some way and you've achieved certain things that you wanted to achieve in the past. You don't want to do it exactly the same way, but what was like the recipe, the loose recipe that you can follow to get you to that next state of what it is that you want to achieve. And also give yourself credit. Like, what are you doing right? I just did a pick a card reading, what do they love about you, because I was just feeling like I was being so hard on myself, and I'm like, I want to hear why people love me, not why people hate me, or like why I think people hate me, or why I don't like myself, or what I feel like I'm doing wrong. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet, because it was a good one. People really liked that one, and I'm going to do an 18+ reading of that probably sometime next week. But anyway, I'm just feeling like I just feel like I'm getting pulled in like 100 different directions, and I just have to find my grounding and my individuation. And like maybe you're feeling that way too, because it feels like I have all this stuff I want to do, and it's just like not enough time or energy to get it all done, because there's just so many things, But anyway, so we have the Empress here and the recipes for success, and finding the ingredients that you can put together in a similar but different way to get you from point A to point B. And then we have Six of Wands. So Spirit is reminding you that you will have your victory. I just got really hot, like very, very hot channeling. And then we have the Three of Cups here. So this is my spirit baby card, but also it could be like inner child healing as well right now. But with the Six of Wands, it's like you will have this victory, and there's always going to be haters, because whenever you're doing something, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, people are not going to like it. There's going to be some people who just don't like it or don't like you. And like, I saw this really funny meme that was like somebody like teleporting, and it was like, I could teleport, and haters would be like, well, it's because she can't afford a car. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, like, people will hate on you. And I remember I read this quote from Dita Von Teese that was like, you could be the juiciest, ripest, most delicious peach in the entire world, and there's still gonna be someone who hates peaches. That's just how it is. I just heard that song that's like, you know what's in the teaches of peaches, and then millions of peaches, peaches for me, millions of peaches, peaches for free. So it's like, I feel like it's just saying, like, there are going to be good times, you are going to have your victory here, and you are going to be able to celebrate, because the Three of Cups is about celebration. And if you are wanting to have kids, or you are trying to conceive, this is definitely a good indication of your spirit baby being around you and being ready to come into the physical realm. And if you're not, this is just your inner child asking for some support and comfort during this full moon. Thank you for the likes. But yeah, and with the Empress as well, definitely if you're not wanting to have children, make sure you're taking the proper precautions to protect yourself from having children. But with the Empress and the baby here, if that is something, also a side message, if someone's been having trouble to conceive, there might be something that you need to release here on this full moon that has been blocking you from your conception. So you might want to do some meditating to figure out what that is, because Spirit is saying that you will have victory over that here with the Empress, the Six of Wands, and the Three of Cups. But it almost feels like there's a message for you with this full moon. Like I said, it's very specific for those who have been struggling. Maybe you've been doing in vitro, or you've just been really trying and it's not working out. There's something that needs to be released with this full moon, with everything that we just talked about earlier, that will help to release any spiritual blockages that might be holding you back from conception. So, because sometimes it's like sometimes it's a combination of stuff that's blocking us, and it's not just with conception. Like, sometimes it's like it's physical, mental, and spiritual, right? So you might, like, using conception as an example, there might be some physical things that need to be fixed, but at the same time there's also like spiritual stuff and mental stuff that's blocking you as well. So yeah, so that is going to be that from that deck of cards. And I'm going to pull some of these Titan card deck. Let's see what the message is from the Titans. Okay, we have Odin Guidance, and that's like the father frequency. And then we have Jizo Support. Let's get two more. We have Mithras Sacrifice. Whoa. And then that went flying out of my hands. And then we have Typhon, Anger and Rage. Okay, so how am I going to interpret this? So Spirit wants you to know that maybe you have felt forsaken recently. Like how I was saying, it's like I'm just feeling really suffocated by my immediate environment, my internal environments, and societal environments. So maybe you've been having a lot of anger and rage recently, or maybe you've been feeling like your spirits have abandoned you, or like they're not actually working to help you, or like, your guardian, you're like, where are my guardian angels? Where are my good times? Where's the help? I need help. And so I just saw that Jesus story where it's like the footprints, where the guy is like, hey, why'd you abandon me during my darkest time? And Jesus is like, I didn't, I carried you. But it felt like he wasn't there to that guy. Like, he didn't feel like he had support. He didn't feel like he had help. with this support card here, and especially for those of you too who might be single parents, or just, you know, like, or someone like me who's like trying to run a business and keep my household and also like have a life and be a good family member and also, you know, try to be open to receive a relationship and just all this stuff. It's like you're just trying to do a lot with very little. You're trying to make a lot. I just heard Jenny from the block. I used to have a little, now I've got a lot. And especially with the Six of Wands here, it's like, also what Spirit just said is like the haters are preparing you for when you do finally quantum leap to whatever the higher timeline is that you're trying to achieve for the victory. Because in order for you to get from point A to point B, you need to cut these people out of your immediate environment. Like, they're not supposed to have access to you. So like how I was saying, if it's like someone who's like always watching your posts but they never support you or they never like you, or let's say you have that friend that it's like every time you have a good achievement they tear you down because they're jealous of your good achievement instead of supporting you and uplifting you for your good achievement. What was that? Oh, I think it was just a fuzz. I thought it was an orb. But anyway, it's like these people are not only supposed to not be in your frequency, but they're not supposed to have access to you. Like, they're not supposed to have your phone number. They're not supposed to be able to just DM you. Like, they're not supposed to be able to do that. So it's like they want you to release this shit now, because when you do quantum leap to your higher timeline, these people, there needs to be a wall between you and them. Like, those people are on the outside looking in, and they're still hating, but they can't send you the hatred because there's a physical boundary and blockage, bringing it back to the beginning with boundaries. So it's like Spirit is saying that it's like, yeah, we understand you're angry. We understand things are hard. We understand that you feel like you don't have a lot of support right now, but they are helping you behind the scenes. They are giving you guidance behind the scenes. And right now is just a time of sacrifice. Like, unfortunately, it's just one of those times in your life where you don't have a lot of support, and there's a lot of sacrifice, and there's a lot of anger, and there's a lot of confusion, and trying to like believe and have faith and like move through with the guidance and the support that you do have, but it's just not easy. And so Spirit's just like acknowledging, like, this is, as painful as this feels, like with the Jesus story, like, you abandoned me. No, I didn't. I carried you. Like, as painful as it feels, it's preparing you for what it is that you asked for. And I just heard you're not doing anything wrong. Like, people really need to hear that. It's like, as far as your manifestations or your spirituality, or like, you know, the way you're connecting to God as you perceive God, like, you're not doing anything wrong. So let's say you just left a religion and everyone's like, well, enjoy hell. And then you're like, oh man, it's like making you second guess your choice. Like, if you left like one of like the more extreme churches or whatever, and it's like, no, you're not going to hell. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. As long as you're not hurting anybody and you're not doing anything like purposefully evil and shit, like, you're not doing anything wrong. And that's not me saying like don't take responsibility for your faults or your flaws or what needs to change, but I am saying that it's like, I feel that if you're watching this reading, you're doing more right than you're doing wrong. And anyone trying to like fear monger you, and including yourself, your own intrusive thoughts trying to fear monger you into thinking that you're not good enough, or that you're inherently bad or inherently sinful or whatever, it's just not true. And you're doing a good job. Thank you for the likes. Okay, so it feels to like we got Hypnos, Sleep, and Vulcan Inventiveness. These cards keep coming out. Like, I'm having deja vu from other readings. It really, like, Spirit's just reminding you that so many people are asleep at the wheel. I just heard they're asleep at the wheel, and I just heard, Jesus, take the wheel. All right, I'm going to say something that might piss people off, but I channeled it the other day. People who go full Jesus, they want something spiritual, but they can't focus on anything except Jesus, and that's the only place they feel safe, are people who don't have discernment. Period. Like, they cannot be in the realms and doing what we're doing, working with other spirits or doing like spell work or things like that, because they do not have discernment. They literally need someone or something to tell them what to do. Like, they need the Bible to tell them, do this, don't do that. They need their pastor to say, I'm the only one who talks to God, which I just think is so dangerous personally, especially because I do have religious abuse, like from a creepy church. So it's like, people who want to yell at you about how you're going to hell and how Jesus is the only way. Yeah, because Jesus is the only way for them. They don't have discernment. They need Sky Daddy to tell them what the hell to do. Because those are the same people who, like, maybe they're not NPCs to the systems anymore, but they're NPCs when it comes to their spirituality. I'm not saying all Jesus people are like this. I'm saying the ones that are, like, in your face telling you you're going to hell and, like, you'll never be okay. And, you know, the ones who claim to be Christian but are doing the opposite of being Christian. And so the other thing I noticed about those people is they're so fucking negative. Like, I really like this lady, Gubba Homestead, and I buy her, like, stuff. I put it on my face, like her facial tallow, and she does a lot of homesteading, but she's so, I'm right, you're wrong. And it's like, that shit gets tiring after a while, especially because she's not always right. And I think that's the thing, it's like that, and she's like full Jesus, and she's, everything is evil, everything's the devil, and it's just so exhausting after a while, because it's like, you're not God. You're not. Like, so why do you act like you know everything, and why do you act like everyone who thinks differently than you is just stupid or wrong, or, and like the people who think the rapture is coming, like, it's just so negative, and it's just, I can't take it, but... Anyway, I just heard asleep at the wheel, and I went on that little tangent. But, and then with inventiveness, Spirit's saying that it's like, we're living in a time where you really have to get creative about moving through the NPCs, moving through the difficulty in society right now, moving through life in general. Like, you really do just have to get creative about it. And then also, this is just reiterating what I said about how people who are NPCs and they're not actually connected to source or to God as you perceive God, they have no creative ability, so they just copy other people, or they just, you know, follow the Bible to a T, even though the Bible is a fucking series of metaphors. It's not meant to be taken literally, in my opinion. But anyway, it's just reiterating that. I'm going to get one more card from this deck, and then we're going to get 2 other oracle cards. And that's not meant to be offensive. That, like, and I think I'm saying it way nicer than a lot of the Jesus people have said it to me. Because the Jesus people who are like full Jesus and think everything that's not Jesus is evil, and then they're like screaming in your face about how you have to convert, like, those people have said horrible things to me. Or done horrible things to me, you know? So I think I'm being nicer than they are. And it's not meant to be rude, it's just my observation. But anyway, we got Maui with Discovery. These are like all the same cards coming out from other readings. I feel like, okay, and then I'm seeing Tefiti again, and like how they had to put her heart back in. It's like rediscovering the heart space. And I just heard rediscovering your why. So I go to yoga on Saturdays, and she always asks us, like, what is your why? What is your intention for yoga today? So some days it'll literally just be my body's stiff. I want to feel stretched out, and other days it'll literally be like, I want to release the spiritual gunk in my body that is like holding me back. So it's like rediscovering your why. Like, why are you trying to manifest this thing? Why do you want that house that you're trying to get? Why do you want, and it's not the surface level stuff either, like, oh, well, I need a bigger space, and I want to live in a nicer environment, and I want to live in a warmer place. Like, yeah, all that's good, but like, what's the why? Like, the why is because you want to be happy. The why is because you want to spread out and have enough space to be yourself and be creative and do the things that you want to do. You know what I mean? So, like, finding the surface level why, as well as, like, the deeper why as to what it is that you're trying to create, and why'd you start trying to create this thing in the first place. Like, so for me, I really want to move out of Connecticut. Well, why do I want to do that in the first place? So, and then I feel guilty because I'm like, well, I like things about Connecticut. I've always lived in Connecticut, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not rational. I need to, like, we live in such a time where everything's so black and white, and people attack you if you don't, like, explain every side of a situation, that I find myself doing that in my own life. Like, literally feeling guilty for wanting to move. That's stupid. Like, that's dumb. I can come back and visit whenever I want. Like, it's just, like, the why I want to leave because the spirit of oppression is literally choking me out in this state and has been for the last 4 years. That's my why, because I feel like I cannot spread out and I cannot be happy here. Not to mention the seasonal fucking depression and shit. We get like a couple fucking nice months out of the year. That ain't worth it to me. I want to go somewhere where like I can fucking go outside without freezing my tits off and then die in a fucking ice storm. Like, I don't want this for myself anymore. I don't have to feel guilty about that. And for some of you, it's the same thing with the people who are like pushing your boundaries. Like, you never have to feel guilty about removing people from your life or like setting a boundary with someone who's not respecting you. Like, and they will try to make you feel guilty, and they will try to blame you, and they will try to make you feel wrong. But that's when you have to grow out of it and say, I'm not wrong. I stand up for myself, and I don't like the way you're treating me, right? Thank you for the likes, guys. Can I get some advice, please? We have Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand behind you. So this always reminds me of like the Native American Keepers of the Earth and ancestors. But also this is like your ancestors. So it's like your ancestors, your benevolent ancestors want your dreams to come true just as bad as you want them to come true. You're the curse breaker in your family, right? You're breaking those ancestral curses so that you can have a better, like, you can have a legacy. Your family line can get out of these like crushing situations that have been plaguing your family line for generations and generations. Like, you're here to help change that. And even like one example, I really like Michelle McDaniel, and she always talks about how everyone told her, oh, you'll be obese for the rest of your life because it's just in your genetics. And then when she went like and started learning about nutrition, she realized that like her whole family is obese, not because of their genetics, but because of their lifestyle. And so it was like nobody taught her how to count calories or like what is healthy for you and what's not healthy for you. So as soon as she, and I know this isn't everybody's case, like, please guys, don't attack me. I know that some people have medical issues. I know that people have reasons why they struggle to lose weight. I'm not negating your experience. I'm simply telling one girl's experience of what she did. So please take it with a grain of salt. But once she started learning how to count calories and what's actually nutritious for you, the weight started to fall off of her, and then she found an actual love in it and became like a personal trainer, and like it changed her whole lifestyle. And she basically proved everybody wrong that it's like, oh, this is just how it is. It's an ancestral curse. No matter what, you're always going to be obese. And now she's like super fit and strong and like happy with her like decisions that she's made in life. And so it's like she broke that ancestral curse that people told her. Even using the example from my recent video of how when I got depressed and I went to the doctor and told him I was depressed, they were like, oh, well, it isn't your genetics, it isn't your family line, so this is just your life now. You're going to be depressed forever and you'll never get off medication, and all your kids will be... I used to not want kids, not because I didn't want kids, but because I felt like it would be cruel for me to have a kid because I thought they would be cursed with, like, having all these mental health issues because it's, like, in my family line. When in reality, it was like I had to make environmental and personal changes to get to the other side of my mental health issues and have the proper coping skills and proper diagnosis of PTSD instead of 100 different other medical diagnoses. And then it was like once I got the proper diagnosis and then started to take my life into my own hands, I realized, hey, it's actually not cruel to have kids because my upbringing and my life experiences is what gave me mental health issues, not my genes. And I have a belief that it's like all of us have the genes, and some of us have certain genes like related to our family. So let's say your mother is bipolar, you have the genes for that. I think though that it takes an environmental factor to activate those genes. So like your mom could be bipolar, and your whole life you never have such a severe trauma that then activates those genes in you, and then it stays suppressed. It's the same way I feel about autoimmune. Like all this information is coming out now that autoimmune is like skyrocketing in women because it's directly related to stress and trauma in the body. So it's like I clearly had the gene for gluten intolerance and migraines and all this other like autoimmune stuff that I have, like, but it was activated by just a really toxic environment and traumatic situations. And also, in my opinion, pharmaceuticals and V's also activated my allergies because I didn't have them before I was pumped full of all these like experimental chemicals, but just my opinion. I'm allowed to have it from my own experience. But anyway, so it's like, I feel like we are all have the genes within us, and I think that's what they mean too when they say like addiction is hereditary. I truly believe it's like you have the genes, but they can remain dormant if you're in the right environment. Like if addiction runs in your family, but like your parents broke the curse and they never drink a drink of alcohol and they never do drugs, and they stay on like the straight and narrow and they have good coping skills, and then they have you and they raise you in a really healthy environment, and you know, you never fall into using drugs or alcohol as a vice, and it's like, yeah, you might have the genes, but they stay dormant because the environment didn't activate the genes. Everybody who I know who had or has an addiction issue had a really terrible time in life, whether it was with their family or just really unfortunate circumstances that happened to them. And I really like the holistic psychologist on Instagram, because she talks about people who have addiction tendencies or full-blown addictions. It's because they don't know how to self-soothe. They don't know how to cope. So they picked up whatever they could find to cope. And yeah, it just makes a lot more sense to me than, oh, you're born this way, you have to deal with it for the rest of your life, good luck, fuck you. Like, that's, why would you tell people that? Like, and people were telling me that when I'm like 21. Like, I had my whole life ahead of me, and then that's when I was like, well, if this is what life is going to be like for the next 75 years, why do I want to be here? Why do I want to have kids if my kids are just going to be screwed up? Why do I want to even try to have a good life if I'll never have a good life? Like, it's just such a dangerous mentality to put in people. And then also, too, when people do start to fall into depression or anxiety or whatever, why aren't we asking why? Like, why aren't we asking about environmental factors? Why aren't we asking about traumatic experiences? Why aren't we asking about their diet? Why? It's just strange. But thank you for the likes. But yeah, the keepers of the earth, you're not alone, and it's not easy to be the, I just thought of, when I went to group therapy, we would do these like art therapy things sometimes, and we'd take a paper and we'd pass it around the room, and everybody would put like nice sayings on your paper for like whatever you were going through. And I remember this girl was like, it ain't easy being greasy, but you can't fry a chicken without grease. And that was like her message to me, and I just felt like, I don't know, I know it's like it's like a metaphor, but yeah, it ain't easy being greasy. It ain't easy being the fucking black sheep in your family. It ain't easy being the one saying, well, maybe if you didn't eat like that, you wouldn't, you know, be having heart issues if you weren't, you know, covering everything you've ever ate in butter. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy to be the one that's pointing out the obvious, like, issues that are keeping your family encased in these ancestral curses. It's not easy being the one saying, hey, maybe my childhood wasn't as good as you're trying to make me remember it was. Hey, maybe you shouldn't have talked to me like that. Maybe you shouldn't have left me with that abusive family member for caretaking. Like, it's not easy, but you can't fry a chicken without grease, right? And then we have soul family. Call in your soul family. You don't have to do it alone. So even though it feels like you're very alone right now, your spirits are with you. And for some of you, it could be too, like you're like me, where it's like you have support online, but you don't have a lot of people who are into this stuff like where you're at physically. And so it's like, if you do have your friends online, make sure that you're reaching out to them and like supporting each other. And like, obviously don't trauma dump on all your friends if they're not cool with it. Like, if they're going through their own shit, it's not good to just trauma dump all your stuff. But if it's like a mutual give and take, that's fine. If you want to just support each other and lift each other up, that's great as well. But also like your spirits and your soul family and your benevolent ancestors that really are on your side, and also the past and parallel versions of you. So if you're trying to hop to a timeline that you know is real, that you can feel is real, but you can't grasp it yet, find that parallel version of you that's somewhere down the timeline that's already living in what it is that you've tried to achieve, and ask them for help, ask them for support. I do spell work and Reiki for my past self all the time to help me get through what I've been through, because as we've talked about, time is layered, it's not linear. So I do that often. I probably should do that tonight under the full moon, just show some support to my past self, because I just feel like my inner teenager is just kicking and screaming right now, because those were just really dark times in my life with a lot of abuse. And then, you know, everything I just talked about with my recent video about mental health, like those were really dark times for me as a young adult. And yeah, so like finding past, parallel, and future versions of yourself to support you as well, even if you don't feel like you have a lot of physical support right now. And then we have take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. It's not what am I doing wrong? It's how can I be open to receive and just relax? What can I do for myself today that's just nice? How can I be there to support myself because I'm going through a hard time and I don't have to constantly be going and producing in order to be valid and acceptable, right? Get one more from this deck and then you gotta be kidding me. Break the chain. Break the chain. Ancestral pattern. Healing and rewriting the future. That is such a fucking mic drop to end on. That is everything we just talked about. It ain't easy being greasy, but you can't fry a chicken without grease. Okay? And then, oh, I did want to pull one card from this deck and read the meaning. Thank you for the likes, guys. It helps my algorithm a lot. Because the algorithm's a hater. I don't know if you know this, but the algorithm's a hater. For me, this is the algorithm. Just kidding, but there's more than just the algorithm hating, I'll tell you that. But all I really do is mind my business, and I do talk a lot of shit, but at the same time, all you gotta do is turn off the video. You don't have to listen to me you don't have to hear my opinions. I'm still gonna say them. You don't have to listen. Nobody's holding a gun to your head, making you listen to me, share my opinions. What's the last message for this full moon? Ooh, we have Dove, Nekbet, Mother Mutt, Nephthys, and Isis. Oh, this is a powerhouse of feminine energy. We have Entering the Mystery, number 1. He was number 1. I'm never gonna not say that joke. Oh, but I think it's like 1 in the major arcana in this deck. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so I think this is like the major arcana in these oracle cards. Entering the Mystery. Dove, Nekbet, Mother Mutt, Nephthys, and Isis. The dove also represents peace. The dove represents the petitioner who is questing through the Anubis oracle. The innocent, trusting dove flies to meet Nekbet Mother Mutt. After offering the olive branch to the elder alchemist, the dove gains permission to enter into the shamanic mysteries of Egypt. Nephthys and Isis form the sacred archway through which the dove must pass to go deeper into the heart of Egypt and her mysteries. If you've drawn this card, consider how your current life situation reflects the actions of the Neteru pictured here. Sometimes new and perhaps surprising, something new and perhaps surprising is happening in your life, requiring you to take a chance or plunge deeply into the unknown. You have all the support and guidance that you need. Wow. After they're like, yeah, we knew you didn't got a lot of support, but you also got support. It's like physical support, right? It's like, and like the story I was saying of Jesus, where he's like, why did you leave me? And he's like, oh no, I was carrying you. And it's like, well, I didn't feel like you were carrying me. But anyway, that's all I got. I'm just going to say thank you, and then I'm going to look at the chat. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Raya, Maya, Kornika, God source, and, sorry, I got distracted. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Raya, Maya, Kornika, and God source, for allowing me to be the channel through which these messages flow. We thank you for the truth, and we thank you for the advice. Amol Rashi Namaste. By the power of 3 Samotic be always works, always a blessing. And I feel like saying the Serenity Prayer. I don't know it word for word, but God, please grant me the ability to control the things I can in my life, let go of things I cannot control, and please grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Amon Ra, Amen. And I do just want to remind everybody, we are doing a Reiki circle later tonight, so you can sign up for that. The information is in my community page, or you can email dutchessdivinity1111@gmail.com to get the information from Lizzie. We also have a really big ancient Kemetic spell working and meditation that we're doing on Friday, Valentine's Day. And then I said I was going to, and I will be doing a Valentine's sale. So the spell will not be on sale because I'm going to do this sale after the time of the spell. But And also the Salem trip will not be on sale. That's something that's like the price is non-negotiable. But I will have a sale on all my readings. I think I'm going to do like 20% on my readings and the Botanica. I'm going to have some more soaps going into the Botanica. I'm going to have potions going into the Botanica. I think I'm going to do another glamour potion because that potion's great. Maybe some sex and date night because that potion is just crazy, right? It's a really good one. But yeah, so keep an eye out because everything's going to be on sale. All open orders are going out today. If you ordered something from me, as soon as I get off this live, I'm going to package, and then once I'm done packaging, I'm going to the post office. So all open orders will be sent today. Yeah, so just know that. And let me check the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Hopefully it's nice. Thank you, Lizzie, for putting the links. Hey, Robin. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are progress in motion. Love that. Schmitty Werberman Jensen. I don't know how to, I always say it wrong too, because it's too intense. Disability is more often not just an obstacle and not an end-all be-all. It just means that we have to accommodate ourselves to do what we set out to do in a way that is conducive to our success. Very well said, Robin. Yes, Clarissa, like Clarissa explains it all. You can totally sign up for a reading or the Reiki session, whatever you want. I mean, I'm not going to be answering questions in the Reiki, but you might be able to find the answers that you're seeking from within, from the meditation. I hope one day that I can give a family to a kid who has been abandoned by their blood relatives so I can show them that they deserve love and that they are not bound by their initial circumstances. That's beautiful. A lot of children need to be adopted. There's a lot of children who don't have families. You and your children can heal the cycle. It is hard to heal and outgrow your programming, but you can do it. Absolutely. Psychic Renegade Tarot. It is an excuse for accepting abuse is absolutely disgusting. Exactly, Robin. Oh, Shireen was here. Hey, Shireen. Hey, girl. I just got your hair oil. Sorry, I leave the chat off because I am just way too ADD. I just can't have it on, but thank you for coming. Y'all, you already know, I freaking shout out Shireen all the time. I tag her all the time. You know I love Arabian Conjure. She's a very kind, wonderful person who's become a wonderful friend of mine. And yeah, I love and stand by her work and her products. And the information that she shares with the world. It's great. Yes. Thank you. Someone said it about people who don't live the love that they preach, literally. Exactly, Jewish mystics. I haven't had that experience, but I totally respect you, Kat, if you've had that experience. I've been obsessing on Vikings lately. I think they're coming through. The Asgardians, or like, I know I think that's the Thor word, like the Marvel word for them. I think they have a more professional name. Hey, Underdog Tarot. I have an upcoming back surgery and no support. It's hard. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's got to be really hard. It's a real test of my faith. Yeah, I would say so. I'm praying that you get the help that you need. Girl, take your vitamins and stay prayed up. I do need to take my vitamins. I haven't been taking any. So true. The haters gonna hate. Yes, they are. Schmitty Werben Jengerman Jensen. Thank you so much for the kind words, Duchess. Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. But, alright, guys. I need a package, so I'm gonna do that. And head to the post office, and then if you want to join us for Reiki, that'll be available. So I love ya, happy full moon, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you to my moderators. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.